Hey everybody, welcome back to the Race 5 Smokehouse and Grill, and today we are taking this awesome 4-pound chuck roast and we're making these delicious pulled chuck roast sandwiches. Let's go! Smoked chuck roast is one of my favorite things. I've made a couple other videos on these, but today we're actually going to cook this all the way down until it's shreddable, and we're gonna make some awesome sandwiches out of this. So let's just jump right in. We're gonna get this seasoned up. Today I am using the Loot and Booty Barbecues Jolly Roger Jalapeno Garlic Black Rub. It looks interesting. I'm really into these dark rubs for beef. They really give a great color and bark on there. So I tried some. Absolutely delicious. Cannot wait to get this seasoned up, cooked, and try this later. We're going to apply this rub liberally to this piece of meat. Big chunk of meat can take a lot of seasoning. I absolutely love these dark rubs for beef. Gives a great bark, great color. And on top of this one, it's jalapeno garlic, so you get a great flavor with it. Pat it in. Hit all the sides, and any side that you're going to eat should get seasoned. Chuck roast is seasoned up. It is looking and smelling amazing. That rub, you get the garlic off the bat, you get that little bit of hint of jalapeno smell to it. This is going to be awesome. So today we're doing this cook on the Weber Smoky Mountain. I'm starting with some Jealous Devil lump charcoal. We're putting a few chunks of pecan wood in there for some good smoke flavor. Then we're gonna put this back together. Cooking, this cook's gonna be done with the fire dial and no water pan. Once the smoker's up to temp, we're gonna go ahead and throw this piece of chuck roast on there. Smoker's up to temp, we're running it at about 250 to 275. That's our sweet spot for today's cook. So let's get this chuck roast on the smoker. Chuck roast is on, looking great. That rub is really set up. Let's close it up. We're gonna let this roll for a few hours without opening that lid, because as long as that lid's open, you're building a fire. We wanna keep that temp low, especially with that fire dial in there. We don't wanna get that fire out of control. So we're gonna close it down and come back in a few hours, check it out, see how we're looking. Chuck roast has been on about 4 hours. We haven't even opened this once yet to look at it. Time to go check the color, see everything's going okay. And then we're gonna add a temp probe into the hunk of meat. We're using the arm eater wireless smart probe here, and we're gonna see how this does. So let's go check it out. Let's take a look at this chuck roast. This chuck is looking fantastic. Great color from that black rub. Look like it's starting to dry out. That bark is really forming up here. We're gonna place our meat probe into the thickest part, which is this area here. And there is a notch on here. It says you have to go past the notch. So let's go ahead and get this in here. Here we are past the notch. We have our meat probe in there. We're gonna go ahead and spray this down, get a little bit more moisture on the surface, and this thing is looking spectacular. We shut down that Smoky Mountain. We're gonna let this keep cooking till it gets a little bit further along. We're gonna probably wrap it somewhere about 170 internal, and then we're gonna wrap it in foil and let it come up to temp, shred it. So we'll be back in a little bit when it gets up to that 170 mark. About 6 hours in, this thing's looking great. We're gonna pull it off, wrap it, get it back on the grill till it is finished. Usually I like to wrap beef in butcher paper, but since we're making pulled chuck roast out of this, I'm gonna actually put it in foil wrap. That way it helps really tenderize and get that meat broken down. So let's get this wrapped up. Gave it a nice tight wrap, got that probe back in, and I'm really loving the look of this. It looks like a meteorite, man. It's so dark, but it smells amazing. So this is back on. We're just gonna let it cook till it gets to about that 203, pull it off and let it rest. Then it'll be time to shred, and we'll be back in a little bit. Chuck roast is done. It has been resting in the Yeti bucket for a couple hours. It's down to about 170 degrees internal. We're gonna shred it, chop it, make a sandwich. This smell is amazing. That looks and smells amazing. We're gonna go ahead and move this over to the cutting board. Try to keep these juices intact because once we shred, we're going to go ahead and pour those juices back in. Oh, look at this, it's already falling apart, which is amazing. Keep this over to the side for now. We will use that. This stuff shreds apart like nothing, no resistance at all. This got up to about 208, I believe, 208. That's when you really know it's gonna break down and fall apart like this. Yeah, the whole thing is just gonna shred nicely. And just like I do with pork, just get in there and kind of squeeze it and mash it together, and it's all just gonna come apart. I was thinking I was gonna need my cleaver, but don't even need it. But you can if you wanna chop it up, get into the smaller bits or whatever you need. Take a little taster here. I just absolutely love chuck roast. Take these juices, put them right back in there. That's only gonna add more flavor. Keeping those juices to add back is super important because it's going to add so much of that flavor and juiciness back to it. So good. Gonna move this over to the side. Make a little sandwich here. Just using regular old hamburger buns because that's what we have in the house right now. Gonna hit these with a couple pickles on the bottom. These are hot and spicy. Get some of this awesome chuck roast on here. Pile that up nice and high. Now if you want, hit it with some sauce. I'm gonna hit it with a little Mitch Whomp Sauce on here. Don't need a lot because you don't want to lose that beef flavor in the sauce, but just enough. Then a couple red onions on here. Look at that guy. Absolutely delicious. Give it a try. Smoke a chuck roast. Go over that normal 200, 203 that you're used to. Go to that 208, 210, 212. It shreds and pulls apart and tastes fantastic. Make a bunch of sandwiches with this. Everybody's gonna love it. If you like what we did here, hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button, check me out on social media, and we'll be talking to you all soon. Peace.